what's up, everybody? It's Monday at 6. You know what time that is. It's we got another edition of the Sully Squad here. Got a lot to get into. We got a red hot baseball team. I mean, I'm looking at the standings here with 34-14. So the Phillies are playing some great ball. And then we're also going to get into the NFL schedule came out last week. So we're going to get into some schedule talk. We'll have special guest Marc Farzetta from the Farzy Show will be hopping on with us in a few minutes, so we'll get into some of that stuff with him. And so how you guys doing, man?
Good, man. Hanging in there.
Doing good, man. Good baseball team's on fire. Knicks lost yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good weekend.
How you feeling, Jalen? That's all I want to know. How you feeling?
Yeah, it's funny. Like yesterday was a great day for Philadelphia sports fans.
Yeah.
If you think about it, because it's like the Phillies. Phillies spanked Washington. Atlanta got spanked by San Diego.
Atlanta blew a 5-0 lead today.
Yeah, how about that? Losing 6-5.
Yeah.
Ain't nothing better. I work with Braves fans too.
Yeah.
So let's see if they could win that doubleheader.
Yeah. It's so funny. Like why are there so many Braves fans? You know what I mean? Like it makes you wonder. Like what are they? I mean,
it's like the Yankees, bro. It's those championships. It's that's you know it from our era, old school. The guys going with the champions like the Yankees and the Dallas Cowboys. It's all about those championships. But when you ask that individual who played where, who's on who, they don't know. They just say, "Oh, we got championships." Now, a true fan like Paul Spencer, he knows his team inside and out. And then you got your frauds that just go for the ring chasing. If you agree with me,
like the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
They won some Super Bowls and they picked up all their fans.
The last time they won, I think, Diego, is when VHS was out. So if you want to look at them, convert your VHS tapes to the DVD and then come back at us.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Paul said he actually did that. So he can relive 1995, 96.
Oh yeah.
I'm saying,
on his DVD player.
Yeah. With that elevator music in the background.
Yeah, but I mean, just some people have to live in the past like them, but like I said, our Phillies are just like 34-14. I mean, you look at this team. Like we said, you got Atlanta. They coming into today, they had a 5-game lead on Atlanta over Atlanta. Now it's 5.5 because the Braves lost the first game of the doubleheader. It's a little weird though because it's 5.5, but the Braves are only 3 back in the loss column. I guess the Braves must have had a lot of rainouts or something.
Phillies really haven't had any rain.
Yeah, or if they did, Diego, they try to push through and play.
Yeah, they push through it.
What was the one game? Ranger Danger. He had a somewhat of good game, but that rain was just like that annoying rain, like that spitting rain. But they played, like you said, and they eked out that win. A win's a win, but it was ugly. Yeah.
They're just so good. Every baseball player on the team just can play baseball. They're all good. All good players.
To see the bench, like you got your Whit Merrifield, your Pache, and Cody Clemens, man. How about him? Saturday and Sunday night, dude. Just when you think Saturday night, I was watching at home, and I had to step out, and sure enough, as I'm in the car, that quick, Cody Clemens hits that home run, changes the game, and then Sunday, another time, the stand-up double. I mean, he deserves to be up here, really. But
he does. The only problem is, I mean, like when Trey Turner comes back, though, I hate to say it because he's playing really good ball, but I think he's probably going to be the odd man out because you can't send. I mean, you're not going to send Merry. You're not going to lose Merrifield. You know what I mean? And then
Sosa.
And right, you're not going to lose. You're not going to lose him. Pache, if they can't option Pache because he's out of options.
Yes.
The only guy that they could send down would be Rojas, but I don't think that. I mean, he's your starting center fielder, and he's hitting, and he's not doing. He's doing pretty good too. So you can't really send him down. You know what I mean?
Right.
Did you hear this morning? Like the Phillies are looking for a catcher. Do you guys think they don't have confidence in Stubbs?
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. I didn't hear that. I didn't hear that. But if it's true, that would tell me something about JT's knee.
True. Yeah, that's another thing too. It's either Stubbs or JT's knee soreness is an ongoing thing to give him more rest. But he's the kind of guy. He's an Iron Man. You know, the dude gets hit in the throat with a ball. He's out there the next day playing. Where other guys, they were sitting. You know, he gets hit in the Kuyans last year. You know, a groin contusion. He's out the maybe, one game, and then he's back. He's unreal.
He's tough, but one thing a catcher can't do, a catcher can't play without their knees. Can't have sore knees.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, got a couple Mike Lauro says Bryson Stott is killing it. Yes, he is.
Absolutely, man.
And here's our man Fuji says JT catches too many innings. Yeah, and you know that is one thing we have to keep in perspective. I mean, you know, JT's in his 30s now, and he's a great athlete for a catcher. But you know, you do kind of wonder, you know, if he keeps catching this many games, you know, are some injuries going to start piling up? So maybe. You know, like you said, I don't know. I feel like the team really likes Stubbs, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like Diego said, if they do get another catcher, that tells you that it's, you know, hey, we need somebody that's more productive than Stubbs, and you know, while we like them, you know, we need somebody to do more than just play party songs. You know.
True. Yeah. Retire that song. I don't want to hear it dancing on my own. Sorry.
They do. Yeah, I was gonna say they do got to come up with a different song. And you know what's funny too is, like, I mean, you know, they're red hot. They're killing it, and it's not. And we haven't even entered June. I mean, June is the month of the shore bomb. You know.
Man, once June comes, I think release the hounds. Everybody's going to be, you know, hitting it. You know, we're going to see a lot of home runs, believe it or not.
Yeah, here's
Mishkov mania.
Yeah,
Scott Walker.
I was going to say we'll definitely
get into that.
We'll definitely get into that because you know, if Michkov can come over, you know, that would be
a good sign.
You know,
I mean, good sign for the Flyers. Absolutely.
Yeah, and that really kind of, you know, I mean, obviously the Flyers are rebuilding and they do have some cap issues, you know what I mean? But you know, you got to figure if you get a guy like Michkov here, you know, it almost makes you wonder, okay, are they going to make moves this offseason? Not for like,
I know what you mean, to kind of upgrade and tweak the roster. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because if Michkov is what they say he is, then or you know, are you really, like, you know, you're not really 2-3 years away. I mean, in essence, you can go, you know, maybe they go and package some of these picks or a pick or two for like a young veteran type guy. You know what I mean? Like a guy that's like 23, 24 that
fits the system.
You know?
Yeah, and then Torch can relate to, and, you know, coach him. Not, you know, like Torch is that old school coach, like we said, Joe. You know, it's either you love him or hate him, but he knows what to bring out in you, and that's the best. But some players are soft and they can't take criticism. Well, suck it up, Buttercup.
Yeah, but
George
anyway,
is tired. George close.
Yeah, I know. I do. I think he did a good job last year, but I do wonder if maybe the message is going to get a little old. You know what I mean?
It does.
Probably.
That kind of attitude gets old quick. You don't see coaches like that anymore.
Yeah, but anyway, you know, we'll get in. You know, we could wrap Flyers, but you know, I want to get in a little bit more Phillies talk here. And I'm fortunate enough to have our man Marc Farzetta from the Farzy Show. So let's pull Marc up here to talk about this first place Philadelphia Phillies team. Hey, Marc, how you doing, man?
What's happening, fellas? Great to be on with you again. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Thanks for coming back, man.
Absolutely. Sully, Diego, what's going on? Sean Kilrain, what's going on, Sean Kilrain?
Yeah, man. What's up? Hanging in there.
Awesome, man. No, great to see you guys again.
Yep. Thanks for hopping on.
Already got a comment. Here's our man Fuji. Says Farzi's in the house.
Oh, Fuji Dalmas. What's going on, Fuji? Yeah, good to hear from Fuji as per usual.
Yeah. So anyway, you know, we're sitting here and it's you know how in Philadelphia sports, you know, a lot of times you're not used to having such good fortune. You know what I mean? Like doesn't it feel like I feel like we're always looking for something to bitch about?
Yeah.
And then I'm looking at a 34-14 baseball team here. I mean, it just feels pretty good. I'm having like 93 Phillies vibes. What's your thoughts on this team? I mean, it looks like you know this could be. Do you think they could possibly break the win record that they've ever had?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, one of the things I keep reminding people is let's enjoy the hell out of this for what it is right now. For what it is right now, which is a great historic start to the season. Bask in it, bathe in it. It is just savor every little morsel of flavor on your taste buds when it comes to the start of the season. Because you're talking about 1993, you're talking about 1976, and then this year. When the Phillies added the actual quote-unquote four aces, they didn't even get out to as good a start as they did this season. So think about this. You got to go back to Mullets, Macho Rowe, Williams is the closer, Lenny Dykstra a big wad of whatever the heck that was. Tobacco in his it wasn't Big League Chew, of course. Right there.
Red Man.
You got to go Red Man. You have to go all the way back to 1976, which is before my time on Earth, to think about that. And then I also remind people of Ranger Suarez to start to the season. Like, think about this. The 3 years that I highlight when talking about how great this start is to the season is obviously 1993, obviously 1976, because you're talking about the greatest starts to the season the team's ever had. But then I remind people, Ranger Suarez, you got to go back to 1913, people. 1913, when Squeaky O'Houlihan was playing left field. No, I don't even know. But it playing there, talking about, hey, I think we're going to get dragged into this war in Europe. I don't know. Like, that's what you're talking about. You're going to go back to 1913 to talk about how incredible the start of this season has been for the Phillies and Ranger Suarez in particular.
I mean, yeah, it's just crazy. And then, you know, and then just to have the problem too, like, you know, you're looking and, you know, Trey Turner's out, the team hasn't missed a beat. You know, Cody Clemens has a huge hit the other night. He's playing great. The only thing that's unfortunate though is it looks like when Turner comes back, you know, as good as Clemens has been playing, he's probably going to be the odd guy out.
Probably. My thing is he's got to do this. Like, look, Trey Turner isn't coming back tomorrow. He's going to come back sooner than expected, like probably right around that 4-week mark. So Cody Clemens has got to keep this up for another week and a half before they really have to make that decision. So Cody Clemens' job is to make this as difficult for the Phillies as possible to make that decision. But I want to go back to something you said. You talked about, you know, they're doing this without Trey Turner. When I get asked why I have confidence that this Phillies team can make this better than, I hate to downplay it, but why they can make this a phenomenal record-setting season as opposed to just a great start is it's the next man up mentality, but in a different way. It's not somebody's hurt, somebody else steps up. It's, all right, let's see. Bryce Harper, not a great start to the season. Maybe 3 weeks ago, we're like, how's he doing? Not that great. And then you see a guy like Nick Castellanos start to pick it up. You see Bryce Harper start to pick it up. Then Nick Castellanos comes right back down to earth, which is exactly where he started the season. In fact, maybe a little bit below earth. And then you see guys like Trey Turner. He's on fire. Then he gets hurt. You see a guy like Bryson Stott start to pick it up. Bryson Stott 3 weeks ago was hitting 210 with a sub 300 on base percentage. Like, think about that. That's insane. And now he's up to the numbers that he's at now. I think he's at around 345 on base percentage with a 280 batting average. You see Alec Boehm mashing really since the season started and really earned that cleanup spot. It's somebody different. Garrett Stubbs is even finding ways to help the team, whether it's dropping down a bunt against the Mets, whether it's catching a complete game shutout for Aaron Nola. Cody Clemens, the most recent example. The reason why I feel like this team can set the new record, maybe 103 wins in the season, is because everybody who gets hot almost tags the next guy in. Everyone who gets hot and then gets cold tags the next man up to then get hot for this team. It's a really incredible thing watching the depth and the pitching of this team.
So the only person you didn't bring up is Rob Thompson. How do you think of how big of a part is he playing in these wins?
I gotta say this, man. People love to yell about analytics, and I get it. But Rob Thompson, he's had a couple of games this year already where it's like, wow, this is a big win for the people like myself that are a big, gut feeling team. They always talk about that, especially in baseball. You got to go with your gut. It can't just be numbers. You know what I mean? He's some of these guys that he's given starts to, Christian Pache, he has come out and he's even won you a game this year. He's come out and made some big plays for you. He's gotten on base. I like the starts that he's giving him. It's not too much. It's not too little. I feel like it's just right. They're trusting Johan Rojas a lot, and I do think that mostly comes from upper management. I think that comes from more the front office than it does Rob Thompson. But he's impressed me for the most part this year. The only thing that I find very, very interesting about Rob Thompson this year is the way he's used Taijuan Walker since he's been activated off the IL. Because Rob Thompson has really been cautious with guys in general, especially guys coming off the IL. But Taijuan Walker, a $75 million investment by the ball club. He's like, how the hell with it? He's fine. I'm like, what? Like he's letting him go that extra inning, which for the most part I like. But when you see a starter who's coming off the IL in his 2 starts back, before he, started, I think it was 4 starts now under his belt since he's been back. Yeah. His first 2 starts, he let him go into the 7th inning. And I'm like, this isn't what are we doing here? And that's where he ends up giving up a big home run or a big hit. And that's where the ERA starts to inflate. That was curious for me. There hasn't been many instances this season. And man, you really got to stretch and pull and try to find really instances this year where you're like, oh, he's over managing, or as I like to call him, tinker topper. There hasn't been too much of that this year. And it's just, the other thing is, if the team's 20 games over 500, like I said the same thing about Howie Roseman around the draft. I'm like, this was a lot more fun when these guys sucked at their job. You know what I mean? Like, it was a lot more fun to rip Howie Roseman for being a big idiot. And now he's like, damn it, he's brilliant. I got nothing on him. Oh, shoot.
Right.
But Rob Thompson's very similar. I think he's had a great feel for the game. If I ruled the world with Rob Thompson, one thing I would see a little bit more of with Trey Turner being out is more of Bryson Stott at shortstop. Because I think even with Trey Turner healthy, I think Bryson Stott's the best shortstop on this team. So I would like to see him there a little bit more. But, I mean, guys have just been – another name to add to the list there is Edmundo Sosa for being able to step up in the way that he's been able to step up with more playing time. But man, I'm just really enjoying and basking in every second that this Phillies team is playing some great baseball to start things off.
Yeah, you mentioned Sosa, and here – obviously we're giving Thompson flowers, we're giving the players flowers, whatever, we're giving all them kudos. Dombrowski, deserves a lot of credit for this team. I mean, think about it. 2 years ago, I don't think there's a person in Philadelphia who even knew who Sosa was, and so and he was hitting. I think he was hitting like 180 for St. Louis. Well, obviously he's much better than that. You know what I mean? And then he goes out and adds. He goes out and adds guys like Matt Strom, the relief pitcher. I mean, how good's he been?
Well, the thing is with Dave Dombrowski is it's very similar with Howie Roseman. It's tough to rip Dave when you have been to 5 World Series. You've won 3 of them, 2 with the Red Sox, if I'm not mistaken, 1 with the Marlins, and then been to another with the Tigers, for crying out loud. and then being the one with the Phillies. Like you kind of know what you're doing. And what really caught my attention, other than his resume, was I've gotten to know Greg Murphy a little bit, of course, who works for the Phillies on the radio broadcast. He and I do a show together, and one of the things we were talking baseball, because go figure. He goes, I really like it. I did ask him because when Dave Dombrowski got hired, I'm very curious because he seems like just a guy who really loves baseball, it seems like the smallest prerequisite to have for the job that he has. But I was talking to Murph about it, and Murph's just like, I don't know if I've ever been around a better baseball man than Dave Dombrowski. And to hear that from Murph, who's been covering the team for a long time, I'm like, huh. And the next thing you know, they go to a World Series. The next thing you know, they're a win away from going to making back-to-back World Series appearances. Mm-hmm. And then you see these little moves being made in the offseason. Sure, there's the big moves like Trey Turner, you know what I mean? But then you see like a guy like you mentioned, Matt Strom, and it's like, okay, what can you get here? Is he going to be a starter for this team? Is it going to be a bullpen arm? Is he going to be a long relief guy? And he's only got a shutout streak now going of 18 2/3 innings, which is incredible for a guy like him out of the bullpen. So you see guys like that being added that are it reminds me in a way of Pat Gillick. Pat Gillick had a pretty good core, as we know, when he got here. And to his credit, it was a very classy move when they made it to the World Series in 2008, even before they won. He shouted out Ed Wade, a guy who, man, when I was in college, it was all about firing Ed Wade. Damn it, we got to get him out. Yeah, we got to get him out. And he was great. He was like, this wouldn't be possible without the work that Ed Wade did. And we're like, every Philly fan went, God damn it, he's right. You know what I mean? No, but Pat Gillick made those moves that he found the glue guys that were able to go in there and help. Not the guys that were going to, get you the 3-run home run, but like, you're talking about who? So Taguchi, you're thinking Tadahito Iguchi, you're thinking about all these guys being brought in that were just a guy like Jason Worth is probably the best example. Buy low, sell high. Unfortunately, they weren't able to sell, but the guy that let me give him another chance. This guy that I know from Baltimore, of all places, Jamie Moyer. I need that kind of expertise in my rotation. Maybe help nurture a guy like Cole Hamels. Those little moves that were made. The biggest move was, I think, by far, the trading Bobby Abreu. Now, I don't think there's a example of that here, but that was just to go to Pat Gillick. You moved Abreu, and that made the clubhouse become Jimmy Rollins' clubhouse. It made the clubhouse become Chase Utley's clubhouse and Ryan Howard's clubhouse and later Cole Hamels' clubhouse. But yeah, Dave Dombrowski very much reminds me of Pat Gillick. And Pat Gillick, let's not forget, is a Hall of Fame 3-time world champion general manager.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of moves, I mean, the trade deadline, what would you think they could add? Maybe like a bullpen piece or maybe an extra bat, something like that.
I am not as high and mighty on the extra outfield bat. Mm-hmm. I think Whit Merrifield, unfortunately, as versatile as he is, he hasn't really performed. And you're getting opportunities right now. And with Trey Turner being out, you should be seeing a lot more of Whit Merrifield. And you have not seen a lot more of what you saw him move up to the move up in the order. He led off a couple times, hasn't been getting on base, hasn't been getting hits. He's like, if the nicest thing you could say about a guy is that he's versatile and is a good pinch runner, that's not a big compliment. Like, that's what they said about me when I played like in 8th grade. Like, that's why I talk about sports and don't play him anymore. Like, that's not high praise. Okay. That's like, I got to find a compliment for this guy's ego. But yeah, Whit Merrifield's been an overall disappointment, unfortunately. So, but I'm not as high and mighty on the outfield. I am or outfield bat. I'm much more about adding to the bullpen, helping them out as much as you can. Sir Anthony Dominguez has done a good job of not allowing runs. He still had base runners though. Like yesterday, allowed a lot of base runners, able to get out of it. For me, I'm about the bullpen. And if you can get, as much as I love Garrett Stubbs, if you can get another catcher in here for a little bit more insurance that can also hit, that whose role would probably be more along the lines of another good pinch hitter off the bench. When Cody Clemens essentially leads you in pinch hits on the season, that's ridiculous. Okay. Like, he's been here for 20 minutes. Right. You need to have somebody you can rely on, not just somebody who happens to get the day off at the right time. You need to have somebody like that. I think they have guys. I don't think Johan Rojas gets enough credit for his development at the plate. And that's something that I think the Phillies aren't I don't think it's going unnoticed with the Phils. I think in the field, he's pressing a little bit because he knows that's supposed to be his constant. But at the plate, I've actually been impressed by what he's doing. It should alleviate a little bit more of what he's doing in the field, but I don't think it's been the case so far for Yohan Ross. But yeah, I would look at the bullpen, then maybe a backup catcher, and then I'd look maybe at another bat off the bench.
For the bullpen, like I brought up to you this morning, Farzetta, Mason Miller of the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, who is it? You and Daz?
Possibility of getting him.
Is it you and Daz? Who is it? You and Daz all about Mason Miller? Yeah. Look, I think everything's on the table right now. When you talk about the trade, this is what I love about this start. It proves either way you're going to be talking about the trade deadline. The Phillies will have they were 7 games under 500 on June 1st or something close to that last year. Now they're 20 games over 500. And it's all right, so who can we get? So either way, you're going to talk about it. So if you can get him, I think that's a great acquisition. I think that's someone that the Phillies could certainly rely on. You still see now Jose Alvarado and Jeff Hoffman not taking the closer reins by the horns, so to speak. Mm-hmm. When you talk about Rob Thompson, he still very much has a closer by committee. If you're able to add a guy that is the definitive closer, or you're able to add a guy that could pitch that 8th inning for you, or even be a setup man, if you're talking about a guy like that, I feel pretty damn good getting 6 innings from any starter on this rotation, although Christopher Sanchez has left a little bit to be desired. And you're talking about that as a 4th starter, you know what I mean, in the rotation, maybe a 5th starter in the rotation. I feel pretty good about getting 6 innings there. And then if you got Alvarado and you got Hoffman and then you got fill in the blank and you mix in Matt Strahm wherever you need him, oh, my goodness gracious. You're pretty set for the playoffs there. But I do think bullpen will be the top of the Phillies list going into the trade deadline, which we have a lot of time to kick around.
Yeah, definitely. Well, hey, for the Phillies, Phillies are the exciting story. But another big piece of news came out last week. Do you play the schedule game like it seems like everybody kind of does, right?
Yeah, if I do, if I don't, the sports talk police come to my house. And they arrest me, and I have to do a week of community service, and I don't want to do a week of community service. I did it. I went through it. 13. I got him at the worst 11 wins. The best I got him at 13 wins. Excuse me. Yeah, the worst is 11. Best is 13.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm looking at it here. I mean, because it's funny you said that because I like the Eagles to win at least 11 or 12 just based off of what the moves they made, but You know, some people are saying this, this schedule looks kind of easy. I mean, I'm looking at this. They got a couple tough stretches here. I mean, to me, going at LA and at Baltimore back-to-back weeks, there's nothing easy about that.
No. I actually have them. Last I looked at it, and I'm pulling it up right now. Yeah, those weeks are going to be rough weeks. You have Washington, and then you have Carolina sandwiching those 2 games of at LA against the Rams, then at Baltimore. The West Coast game against the Rams, one of the saving graces I have about that game is that it is a Sunday night game. So that's a get up no matter what for that game. So I originally looked at it, making the cross-country flight, all that. We'll see how they handle it. I was originally thinking it would be a loss. I now see that as a win. What I see as a loss is the short schedule after the Sunday night game, coming back, short week, in essence, a short week, then going to Baltimore to face an extremely tough opponent. That game I see being a loss for the Eagles, unfortunately. But all in all, I do think this is a pretty easy schedule. The easiest schedule on the planet is going to have a tough run, okay? It's just a matter of how long that tough run is going to be. That's probably the toughest it's going to get for the Eagles. And I know a lot of people have made a lot of the bye week. This might be the only season in a very long time I've been absolutely fine with an earlier bye week for the Eagles. The way I see it is you have 2 of your 3 preseason games on the road. I know that's not make or break, but I think it's worth noting. Then you go to Brazil. All right, what, 8, 9 hours? What the hell, man? You play on a Friday. Yeah, you play on a Friday, and then you have a long layoff, which is great. And then you have at New Orleans, at Tampa, and then you have the bye week. Look, even if you're playing Green Bay at home, that's going to be a tough game. Green Bay at home in Brazil is a tough matchup either way. Either way, drawing the Packers week 1. Then you're also you're on the road in New Orleans. You're also facing the Falcons in week 2, then on the road in New Orleans, on the road in Tampa against the team that beat you in the playoffs last year. And then that bye week right then and there, I'm actually okay. If I was ever going to be okay with an earlier bye week, this would be a year to be okay with it. And I think maybe the NFL had that on their mind, considering you're going to Brazil to start things off, to kick off the season, maybe. But yeah, I do love the 10-day layoff after the Brazil trip. So you have essentially 2 long bye weeks at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that kind of makes it imperative to try to get that number 1 seed too. You know, like
oh, absolutely.
You know, I mean, hopefully they can. I mean, but you look at this NFC. I mean, if this kid Caleb, you look at the North in particular with Green Bay, Detroit, and then if this kid Caleb Williams can play, Chicago might be a lot better. So you know what I mean? The whole conference is probably getting a little better.
Yeah, one of the things that the NFL does. I mean, look. There's always a surprise team, whether that team is in the NFC East, whether the team is Washington, even, with some shuffle in the deck down there. There's always a surprise team. The Bears, to me, that would be an interesting step up. I'm not sure who that team is going to be just yet. I got to go through some of the OTAs, some of the training camp and all that. On paper, the Bears definitely have that. I think Washington has some people excited on the national level as far as being that surprise team in the NFC. Maybe the Rams have a bounce back year as well. I know I said the Eagles would beat them, but I'm not counting them out for the entire season just because of 1 week. But yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting NFC with I don't think necessarily a shifting of power, but let's put it like this. There's no doubt in my mind that the Eagles have everything in place to win the NFC East. Not limp into the playoffs, not have some kind of historic collapse, but be, in essence, wire-to-wire first-place team. They have everything, I feel, going in the right direction to be able to set that up for them this year.
I agree. But there is a lot of question marks on the defense with all these rookies having to probably fill in big shoes. How confident are you that the rookies do fill in these big shoes, and what rookie do you see having the best season out of the ones we brought in this year?
Let me tell you, skinny Jordan Davis. I think last year I was
by that how much weight he lost.
I want to know what he's doing, because if it's anything other than working out, I'm all ears. I want to hear it. But listening to last year, I think the big story was like Jason Kelce making a fan cry. All right, that was a beautiful story for the Eagles, right? And then this year, it's like everyone looks at Jordan Davis and goes, "Damn, son," because the only knock on Jordan Davis is whether or not he is. His stamina will be able to last throughout an entire season, because we all saw him leaking gas by the end of last season. Week 14, it was like, is he even playing? What's happening here? He took a nap on the field at one point. At least I think he did. Anyway, there's a Jordan Davis that I think is a better version, and I think this might be showing that he's taking it pretty serious, because let's look at it. Anybody who goes to work at any job, if somebody who has been the leader, somebody who's been the top producer, whatever, he's gone all of a sudden, in this case, Fletcher Cox, you got to step up and you got to find a way to help this team win. And you got to prove a lot of the doubters wrong so that you can get that big contract, the many big contracts that Fletcher Cox got in his career. I think a guy like Jordan Davis got to step up. I don't think a lot of people have doubts about Jalen Carter, but I think some people at least had their doubts about Jordan Davis, and seeing how great a shape he looks to be in, he looks like a guy that's absolutely raring to go and look like he's ready to fill in some pretty big shoes.
Yeah, and that's another thing too. Traditionally with defensive linemen, a lot of times their breakout is usually year 3 and 4. Usually, you know what I mean? Like usually year 3 is a big year for interior defensive linemen. So let's hope he takes that leap.
Yeah, I certainly hope so. I think their D line is thin. It's pretty much Carter, Davis, Williams, and Milton Williams, and then there's some guys that are going to be playing their butts off for some more playing time. So I'm hoping that they're able to step up. Really got to prove it in training camp. I think we're in that kind of situation right now with the Eagles where they're looking for that next man, or excuse me, not to go back to that phrase, but they're kind of looking for that. All right, who's the guy? I talked about surprise teams. Who's going to be, as they used to call him back in the day, Mr. Lehigh? Who's going to be Mr. Training Camp? Who's going to be the guy that's not going to make us go, oh God, all right, now we got to get another veteran in here. We got to, in case of emergency, we got to find somebody else that'll fill midway through the season. Linville Joseph, come on down. You know what I mean? It'll be like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the Eagles are always on the prowl for that. But it's up to these guys on the roster right now to make sure that Howie Roseman doesn't need to break that glass and go into the guys that are just kind of floating out there and possibly ring shopping a couple of weeks into the season.
Yeah. Wait. Well, listen, Mark. I really appreciate you hopping on with us.
My pleasure, guys.
Been a good time as usual, and obviously everybody out there. It's the Farzy show, correct?
Oh hell yeah! Yes,
Check
absolutely,
it out, man. I'm on there every morning.
Yeah, Sean is always enlightening the chat, which I appreciate. We have a couple ringers in that chat that do a great job. Sean's certainly one of them, and I appreciate that. But yeah, Farzy show every morning. Sean, what time? Like 6:20, 6:21?
Yeah, 6:20 to 7.
I'm the worst. Here's what's the difference between the podcast and the radio. Radio is prompt. In radio, I'm prompt. TV, prompt. When it comes to the podcast, I'm like, well, it's available the rest of the day anyway. So I can take that clip. I can get that clip that I need to do the show. I could take that one tweet and frame it and put it up on the show a little bit later. 6:15, 6:10, maybe. Every once in a blue moon when I actually start right at 6, I almost get complaints. I'm like, what the hell, Farzetta? Starting out late? No, I'm starting out early. What the hell, being on time? Anyway, but no, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me on. You guys catch me weekdays, Monday through Friday on the Farzy Show, and then a new adventure. I'm doing Phillies post game shows for Locked On Sports Philadelphia. We're doing postcasts this year. So after every Phillies game, catch me on Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, and just your typical Marc Farzetta wacky hijinks, as well as phenomenal piping hot takes.
Nice, man. All right, Mark. Hey, thanks a lot, man. Go Phil.
Thanks a lot, Mark. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you guys, Diego, Sully, Sean. Thank you. See you guys soon.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Mark. Have a great night, man.
See you too.
Bye. Yeah, that was good time, man. Good time.
Yeah, man. It's always a good time. His show's good if anybody needs to check it out, like you said. If you're up that early.
I try. I mean, I put it on periodically too. It's just for me, that's the time.
You're crossfitting.
What's that?
You're crossfitting, baby.
Yeah. That's the time I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'm running around and stuff. But yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, hey, I hope his prediction's right. I mean, he said what? 13? What did he say? 13? 12?
That's what I have.
Show, he said 13
I have the Eagles at 13-4.
Same here, Diego. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Yeah,
do you agree or disagree? Like I was telling Joey before we started, we're going to lose to these teams that we should beat, but we don't. Those teams will be our
There's always a couple losses like that on everybody's schedule.
Yeah.
They lose games they shouldn't lose. The Chiefs lost a lot of games last year they shouldn't have lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Chiefs lost on Christmas at home to the Raiders. I mean,
to the Raiders. Yeah, to the Raiders.
Exactly. That was an ass whipping.
That's why I said the Chiefs.
Right. I think and you, I think all three of us were texting like, oh my God, man. Max Crosby, I'm sorry, he is in Patty's head. He knows how to get to him.
Well, you know what it is. I mean, the Raiders only, the Raiders just need a quarterback. I mean, the bottom line is, you know what I mean?
True.
Like if you look at the Raiders man for man, their defense is pretty good, especially the D line. You know what I mean? They have Devontae Parker. They just went out and drafted Brock Bowers. They got the kid Mayer, the tight end. I mean, I know they lost Josh Jacobs. That's probably going to hurt them. But I mean,
no, they got solid running backs. I think rookie wise. But like you said, it's a very good core of players on that team. And Antonio Pierce, damn well, him playing the game, he brings out the best in the players.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but you know what? Let's play another game here. So, we did the Eagles schedule, right? I printed out the Cowboys schedule here. Let me know what you guys think of this.
I got the I just did it. I had the Cowboys at 11-6.
I seen that when Paul brought that up. I got him at 9-8 like him.
I don't know.
Why do you think that record? Because
I think Dallas did get a little bit worse, but I still think Dak Prescott's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and CeeDee Lamb's one of the best wide receivers in the league. As long as you got that kind of connection, you can put up points. You can build around something like that. You know what I mean? It's not like a team that they're trying to find a quarterback. They're trying to find their number one target. They know exactly who their quarterback is. They know exactly who their number one target is. If they can fill in the pieces around, which I think they will, I don't think they got that much worse. I think Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb type of tandem with whoever you put around them can lead you to about 10, 11 wins.
True.
Okay. Yeah, Right, and they got Zeke Elliott back, so maybe they're putting Zeke Elliott back in a time machine, go back to 2016.
Yeah, imagine that.
You know?
Yeah, last time I checked, it's running back by committee, but like you said,
I think it's a running back by committee. That dude, who's that guy they had? Is it Dowdle?
You got Deuce Vaughn.
They lost Pollard, right?
They lost Pollard.
They got
I know who. Is it David Johnson?
Nah, they have a dude that starts with a D. Last name starts with a D.
I forget. I'll look it up.
Yeah,
either way, I think Dallas gets 11 wins. I think the division has I think the Giants suck, so that should be 2. I think the Commanders are.
I like that. You can say the Redskins. Screw the Commanders.
The Redskins, I think they're young. You know, maybe they can steal one against the Cowboys, but I still think they're not going to be that great this year. I think that's 4 wins right there for the Cowboys. Probably beat the Eagles once. That's 5 right there.
So here's the Cowboys depth chart at running back: Zeke Elliott, Rico Dowdle, Deuce Vaughn.
Yeah, Rico Dowdle. And he was pretty nice.
Who?
When he played, like obviously I only seen him play against the Eagles in the couple games they played on primetime, but when he got the ball, that kid ran pretty hard.
So you have Deuce Vaughn, Zeke Elliott, and Rico Dowdle.
Rico Dowdle.
They also signed Royce Freeman. Remember?
That's
Royce
him.
Freeman?
Royce Freeman from
That's
Freeman too.
If they're depending on Royce Freeman, yeah, they don't have a running back. That dude's wild.
Well, I was going to say he's a jag. He's just a guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's just a guy. I think Dowdle and Vaughn are going to have to be their dudes. But like I said, when you're going to CeeDee Lamb 16 times a game, that's pretty much your run game right there.
Yeah, and they got and then
don't forget the tight end too.
Yeah, tight end's nice too.
Jake Ferguson.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at
Schultz. Yeah.
No, Schultz with the Texans. You're right. It's Ferguson. Ferguson's pretty good.
Jake Ferguson. Okay.
All right, so I'm looking here. Mm-hmm. Cowboys' first game is at Cleveland. That's going to be Tom Brady's first game as an announcer. So that'd be interesting. That's interesting right then and there.
That's not easy, but I had that as a win.
See, I think Cleveland. Yeah, that's a toss-up. I mean, Cleveland's defense is elite. I could see Dallas losing that game.
I could see them losing that game.
I see them losing.
Don't forget, that's on natural grass, too. The one thing about the Cowboys do not play well on grass. The last 2 years, a lot of their losses were on the road and on grass.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's true. I think they still get that one, though.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, because I think it's imperative for them to get off to a good start because they're at Cleveland. Then they host New Orleans. They should win that. Then they host Baltimore. The only thing that sucks is that the Eagles have to play in Baltimore and in Cincinnati, and Dallas gets both those games at home. I feel like that's a little bit of an advantage for them.
Kind of, but I still think they lose that. I think they lose that 2 games.
Yeah, you know. Here's the thing, though. The one thing about, I mean, Baltimore was great last year, and I still think Baltimore's going to be good this year. But don't forget, I think they lost like 3/5 of their offensive line. They lost who the hell? Patrick Queen. They lost. I mean, Baltimore lost a lot of talent, man. You know what I'm saying?
They did. They did.
I mean,
Pittsburgh gained talent, man. Watch out for them.
You know what's funny? I was saying watch out for Pittsburgh, but then I saw their end of the year schedule is like unbelievably tough. Like they got to play. I think they have to play 6 of their 8 road division games in the last 8 weeks, and then their other 2 games are like Philadelphia. Like they have to come to Philly, and then they got to play another tough team. I forget exactly. I'm drawing a blank, but
it's pretty hard. Okay.
Yeah,
I think Cincinnati gets back this year. I think Cincinnati gets back this year.
You know, I want to see Joe Burrow. I like the way he plays at quarterback, like I was telling Joey. You know, and they got a hell of a team, minus Joe Mixon. You know, they got T. Higgins, who's in a contract battle, and you got Jamar Chase.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they got a real nice tight end. Their defense is pretty adequate, pretty good, solid, you know. But like you said, Diego, I'd like to see them do something.
Yeah, just to touch on something else here, because we're talking about the schedule and stuff, and because I want to get into a little bit of Mitchkov and if he's coming over, but like, what touching off of like surprise teams, like what teams out there do you think could be like a surprise team, like who's going to be this year's like Texans or Lions? You know what I mean? Like the Texans and the Lions came out. I'll give you. I have a couple now. I don't think this team will make the playoffs, but I think that Washington's going to be much better than people think. If the kid from LSU can play, I think Washington has a chance to surprise some people. And honestly, I'm standing on the Bears. I think that Bears team played really well down the stretch. I mean, I know it was Justin Fields, and now they have a rookie quarterback. But if Caleb Williams can come in and kind of play a little bit like how CJ Stroud came in, that Bears team I think could be a surprise team.
My surprise team, if I had to pick one, I would pick the Atlanta Falcons. I think the Atlanta Falcons offense could be super dynamic with Kirk Cousins, with Kyle Pitts, how they had to bring that TJ Hawkinson, with Bijan Robinson, who's a freak, and I feel like they didn't run him into the ground last year because they wanted to use him a lot heavy this year. Drake London's definitely a number one wide receiver. I think Atlanta would definitely surprise some teams this year. I think they're definitely the best team in that division.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I was going to say. The Rams or the Chargers, Joey. That's my team.
Chargers have no wide receivers.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but hard.
Or running back. They really haven't. They have what does Justin Herbert really have?
He has Jerry Rice's son. God damn it!
That's what I'm saying. That's a question mark.
No,
he might be good. He might be good. He was pretty good with USC. Quentin Johnson, he was drafted high. He could be good.
Yeah,
but there's so many questions.
You're right. He hasn't panned out. You're right. I mean,
he couldn't get separation last year. Look, the dude had no speed. They said he was a downfield threat. He couldn't get off of anybody to beat him downfield.
Yeah, Rams are my surprise team, Joey.
I like the Rams.
I was going to say you know what's funny? I think we're all in agreement. I'm with Fuji. I say the Rams too. Now the only thing is
Mike Laura.
Oh, Mike Laura. I'm sorry, Mike Laura. My bad, Mike. Wrong Mike. Yeah, Mike Laura. But
but all right. Let's be real. If the Rams get back and they win 12 games, whatever, does that surprise you from a veteran quarterback with Matthew Stafford or Cooper Kupp? Like that to me is not surprising.
Well, that's
it's not because
that. I was going to say that's what I was about to say. I expect the Rams to be good. In fact, I'm calling it right now. I'm going out on a limb. San Francisco is going to have a Super Bowl hangover. As good as San Francisco is, that Super Bowl hangover is real. I think the Rams win that division. I think the Rams win the West, bro.
If they don't win the division, they're competing with them all season, and they take a wild card spot, a high wild card spot, like the Eagles did last year, were like 10, 12 wins. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Jazz has the Jets.
Yeah, and again,
not surprising.
I was gonna say a healthy Aaron Rodgers. Honestly,
they should win 12 games.
Yeah, with that defense and Aaron Rodgers, I actually think the Jets are going to win that division.
I look at a team like you just said, like the Pittsburgh Steelers. If the Steelers were good and did compete for that division or a wild card spot, I'd be surprised because there's too many good teams in their division. They're going to have too many tough games just in their division. I think all three teams are better than them in their division.
You know what? I'll give you another team, and not necessarily to be great. I think the Arizona Cardinals are going to be better than people think. You got Indiana. You just drafted Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, they had more picks in the draft than like any other team. I'm not the biggest Kyler Murray fan, but let's keep it real. He was out most of the year last year. When he came back, they started playing a little better. I mean, you saw what they did to the Eagles here. We couldn't stop them. You know what I mean? So I think the Cardinals now, not necessarily to make the playoffs, but like I think
play spoiler.
Here's a team. The Colts made the playoffs last year, right? The Colts made the playoffs with Gardner Minshew, and they're going to get their quarterback who they drafted in the first round the year before, Richardson. If Richardson has taken another step, do they compete for a wild card spot? Probably surprise some teams.
God, yeah. In fact, they showed pictures of Richardson. He looks like he put on like 15, 20 pounds of muscle.
Yeah,
So who knows?
About? Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Sean. What were you saying?
What about the Titans?
You know,
how good is Will Levis?
I don't know about their quarterback.
Yeah, true.
That's the only problem, you know.
I like that. Yeah, how good is Will Levis? You know what's funny? Mike Vrabel hasn't even got no coaching job. Ain't that something?
He'll get one next year, I'll bet. Next year, I think he'll be a
top for him to come here. That would be nice, but Kellen Moore's in the wings.
Jazz Cruz says Minnesota might be another. Possibly. I mean, but you know that. I mean, that's going to depend on how the look their quarterback situation. I mean, what they went out and got Sam Donald and they drafted McCarthy. I mean,
but if McCarthy can play a little bit, that's the thing right there with Minnesota. If McCarthy can play a little bit, dynamic offense right off the bat. Aaron Jones, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and Justin Jefferson. If JJ McCarthy can play a little bit, that offense can be super dynamic.
Yeah, you know what I just realized. I mean, if you really think about it, this is one of the just this conversation that we're having is one of the reasons why the NFL is always king. Because I mean, look at the parity of the National Football League. Like you can make an argument for over 3/4 of the teams of being like, hey, you know, if one thing goes right, hey, you know, they can compete. Like to me, the only teams that I feel like I know really blow is like Carolina Panthers. Carolina
Panthers.
Carolina's the new Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, you know? Well, that's what I would say. It's probably easier to pick out who we don't think has a chance to win games.
Yeah.
Well,
Carolina, we know they suck. They'll probably be the first pick again. Who else?
Yeah. I mean, you know,
I think Jacksonville kind of sucks. And I think Trevor Lawrence kind of sucks. Yeah, and Chris Canny on ESPN had the balls to put him as his 6th best quarterback in the league. What a fucking joke.
Him and his fake guy are totally wrong.
Trevor Lawrence had him at 6. Said Jalen Hurts ain't a top 10 quarterback. You know, shit's funny sometimes. Trevor Lawrence sucks.
It is.
Yeah, but see the problem. See, the thing with Jacksonville though is I feel like they're like the epitome of mediocrity. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, I look at that Jacksonville team and I see anywhere from 7 to 9 wins.
Yeah,
they're right. You know what I mean? They're right in that little realm. You know,
7 to 9 wins, but they're not getting. They have no chance of like 13, in my opinion.
Do the Patriots fall? Do the Patriots fall in that category of talking about sucking?
The Patriots suck.
The Patriots, they're like the two. Carolina and the Patriots are like the two.
No, the Giants suck too.
I think what hurts them really bad is the Daniel Jones contract.
Giants suck.
They're weighed down by it. You know what I mean? They have no other options. They could have went. They could have went after a quarterback, but they chose, hey, let's get this wide receiver Neighbors.
Now that wide receiver could be big time though.
And it looks like he doesn't even want to be there, man. You can see it in his body, language, and just
who wants to play with Daniel Jones?
Not me.
He'll be happy next year after they suck and they're like, all right, we need a quarterback.
Yeah. But hey, I'll tell you somebody that's not mediocre. My man Jason Fine. If you get hurt on the job, okay, and the guy to call is Jason Fine, aka Attorney Big Al. Motor vehicle accidents, slip and fall, workers' compensation, or like I said, personal injury claims. He's got 3 offices throughout Pennsylvania and New Jersey. So make sure he's got 1 in Philadelphia, 1 in Cherry Hill, and 1 in Pittsburgh. So make sure you check that out. If you're a coffee drinker, you know, say you're watching, you know, the 3 teams the teams we said totally blow: Carolina, New England, and who was the other one? The Giants, right?
Giants. You're gonna need something to perk you up, Joey. So
yeah, you're gonna
better than monkey cold coffee.
Yeah, and if you're a fan of one of those teams, you might want to spike that, John.
Yeah, you might want. Yeah, Yeah, you might want to drink a bag a day to stay up for those games.
Irish coffee at its best.
So you could use the promo code OOTBS Sports at monkeycorecoffee.com. So yeah, make sure you check that out. But yeah, I mean, you think about it though, that is actually the easiest way to go. Like you talk about teams that can compete. To me, I just assume talk about the teams that suck. And yeah, I mean, the shittiest ones to me are Carolina, New England, Giants. I think, and then trying to think who else blows in football. I mean, you know,
Seattle might blow.
Yeah, no, I think
they're not as bad as New England and Carolina. I wouldn't put them there just yet, Diego.
Who's the other team in that division?
You know, maybe
Arizona.
Yeah, but I could see Arizona playing better with a healthy Kyler Murray. You know,
that's true.
This league is very. There's so much parity in this league. This league is so much. You know. I don't think the Saints are that good.
I was gonna say the Saints kind of stink. Tampa Bay's mediocre.
What about Miami?
Miami.
No, I think Miami's got a lot of speed.
Okay.
You got Tyreek Hill, Mostert, Waddle. That's give Sean some.
Yeah, that's probably Monkey Skull Coffee.
Yeah.
Do some Monkey Skull Coffee, dog. So, but yeah. Anyway, yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, hey, we got we still got a whole summer to get through, before we get to football season. But before we get out of here, there's big news yesterday, especially for Flyers fans. I know we touched on this a little bit earlier, but Michkov. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, I'll tell you, I'm extremely excited, especially as a new season Flyer season ticket holder. You know me, I definitely want him coming over. What's your thought? Do you think this is legit? I mean,
I tried not to put too much thought into it yesterday because it's all Russian shit, you know. So like that's where we're hearing it from. We're hearing it from like Russian sources. It's not like Daniel Briere's coming out like he's coming over or something like that. So until we hear from like a legit source, not Russia, I'll wait to get excited on that.
Yeah.
What?
What'd you say, Sean?
My friends at LA Fitness if it's legit.
Yeah, really. Yeah, or Sean, you know how we could find out information, bro. Let's go towards the old neighborhood. Let's go towards Bustleton and go hit Golden Gate. You know they know.
Yeah.
They got ties right to Moscow, Golden Gates.
There you go. Anybody at Golden Gates or Lesh, give us the inside.
Can you translate this article for me?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I got a funny story about that. So back in the late 90s, I thought Billy Smith was going to get us killed one night because we used to get into this bar called what the fuck was it? Spoil Sports. Remember Spoil Sports, Sean?
Yeah, right next to it.
So the Russian place was right next to it, Golden Gates, and
doesn't sound good.
And we walk in, and my boy Bill is hammered, dude. We walk in, and it's like, and you know them Sean's are like owned by like the Russian mob and shit, and Bill's in there like hammered, like I think he said like some Russian curse word or something. I'm like, let's get the hell out of here. But anyway, moral of the story is we should take a ride there to find out about Michkov.
Yeah, Matty.
But here's the thing: go in the early hours, not the late hours.
Yeah. So, but yeah, hey, exciting times in Philly sports. And one more thing I wanted to get into, and a little bit of NBA playoffs. Down went the Knicks yesterday, and then Denver got taken out. So we're not. I
love it. I told you Minnesota, Joey, didn't I?
Well, I got $50 on Minnesota to win the championship, so I was very happy.
I love it, Edwards, man.
Denver series. All right, so since I'm
excited. I want to see Luka and Ant go at it.
Me too.
Yeah.
So we're not on for 2 weeks, so those series will be pretty much over. So let's get NBA playoff predictions. We got Indiana, Boston. Any of you guys think Indy has a prayer or no?
No,
Oh,
no chance.
no, but it would be nice to see
They'll take them 5,
somewhat
6.
of a good series, but no.
Yeah, I think they got a chance to take them 6. But I think they have a chance to win the series. No.
No. All right. How about Luka, Kyrie, and Dallas versus Minnesota and Edwards and Towns and them cats? What do you think of that?
I'll tell you what, I think them teams match up incredibly well.
So do I.
Because Dallas got bigs too. That dude Lively's playing great. PJ Washington's playing good. Who else? They got another big. When Lively comes out, I'm pretty sure he starts, and Lively doesn't start.
It's a tall, skinny dude.
Isn't it
yeah,
and or something.
Yeah. Gabber?
Gaffney?
Gaffney?
I don't know. I always
whatever. They have two bigs.
Talking about.
They have two bigs that can match up with their bigs. They got PJ Washington, who's pretty big. You know what I mean? I think they got a lot of players to match out with Minnesota. I think Minnesota finds a way to win the series. I think Anthony Edwards is stepping up. I think Mike Conley's very underrated. I think Mike Conley runs that. You see the difference in the games he missed to the game when he came back. Total different team with Mike Conley. But Luka and Kyrie are some killers. They are,
They're man.
Some killers.
They're a 1-2 punch. They're one hell of a tandem.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so exciting to watch them too.
All right. So what's you're going Minnesota in a tough series?
I'm going Minnesota, Boston, but I don't even know who I want to root for because I really like Luka. I really like Kyrie too.
Well, all right. So to keep it real, I really want to root for Dallas because I really like Luka, but obviously because I put
your money.
Yeah, I mean I'm going to root for Minnesota, but truthfully though, I mean I'm okay. Like, I'm not going to be like upset if Dallas wins because I do kind of like watching Dallas. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I like watching Dallas.
I think Minnesota wins, and I think Boston takes out Indy. I agree with you. I think Indy actually makes them go 6. I think Boston has to. I don't think it's a sweat, but I think Boston's got to break their balls a little bit more than they've had to so far.
I agree.
I'm right there with you. Boston in 6, and then Minnesota and Edwards. Just the way he plays, man. So yeah.
What's up, Al?
Hey, Al.
What's
how
up,
you doing,
Al?
man? Here's our man, Big Al Safiri. Hello, gentlemen. Hello, Al. How you doing, bro?
So Boston, Minnesota for me.
Yeah, Minnesota, Boston, and then that. And I'll tell you what, that'll be a really good NBA Finals.
Yes, it would be.
Hang on a second,
man. Okay.
Al Zafiri says Dallas. He hates Cat and Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate Cat too.
I think everybody hates Cat.
He's so annoying to hear talk. I hate that dude.
You know what's funny though? Not you're right because none of us really like it. Is it because of is it kind of because he had a little bit of a rivalry with Embiid? Because if you think about it, I feel like we should like Cat considering he's an Eagles fan. You know what I mean? Like the dude's like an Eagles fan and shit.
Yes and no, but he's a whiny little bitch.
I don't even know he was an Eagles fan. I can care less. I hate Cat.
Yeah, because I think when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, I think Cat had like an Eagles John on.
Unfortunately, I think Boston's gonna win the finals.
Yes, Mike Loro says Minnie wins it all. All right, I'll take that, Mike. I could go for 350 right now. Bet. Go Minnesota.
That would be nice, brother.
All right. Well, look. Hang on. Oh, Big Al Safiri says Cat runs his mouth. Yeah.
There you go. I said it. Yeah, he does. Runs his mouth, but he can't catch the check.
Do you
He
remember
cashed that check yesterday, though. He showed up.
He did.
He cashed that check yesterday. He was throwing down them dudes and all. He was playing big.
He did. So
he made that big putback. That game got close there at the end. And he comes up. He came up. He crossed them boards hard and got that putback, and that was pretty much the end.
Yeah, that was a huge one. But yeah, we'll see. So all right. So listen, we won't be back for 2 weeks. Well, let's hope. Shoot, I mean, let's hope 2 weeks from now the Phillies are still playing like 750 baseball, and then we'll know who's in the NBA Finals by then. And then I guess we'll be getting closer to the NBA offseason, so we'll get a little bit of we'll do a little bit of Sixers talk and see how we can see if they can somehow find a way to get our Sixers in these in the Eastern Conference Finals. You know,
yeah, we'll go down the rumor mill.
Yep. So
and before we go, shout out to my cousin's baseball team, LaSalle. They play Judge this week.
Nice.
So, you know,
all right.
Get that.
Wait, they play them in like the finals?
It's the semifinals. They beat yesterday Wood 8-0 and on to Judge at FDR Park Wednesday.
Judge are the defending champions, aren't they? I think they won it last year.
Okay. So
I think they did.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen.
Ryan lost 10-0, but that's another day for another time. But yeah.
All right. Well, hey, everybody out there, listen, have a great, happy Memorial Day. Have a great holiday weekend, and we'll see you all in 2 weeks. All right. See you guys.
See you guys. Happy holidays, bro.